Most people think the brain is powered only by neurons, the cells that allow us to think, move, remember, and feel. But my work focuses on another remarkable group of cells, microglia, the brain's immune cells. They are small, but they are powerful. They help shape the brain, protect it, and respond when things go wrong. Hi, I'm David Menassa, and I'm a lecturer in neuroscience at the Queen's College, University of Oxford in the UK, and an affiliate of the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. I am this year's recipient of the Saïd Alumni Achievement Prize, recognizing my contributions to the field of neuroscience and neuropathology, education, and capacity building in Lebanon. My journey with the Saïd Foundation began in 2008, when I received a scholarship to study at the University of Cambridge for an MPhil. That opportunity changed the course of my life, and I'm really grateful for that. It opened the door into medical science, gave me confidence at a formative stage, and really helped set me up for life on a path that has taken me from Lebanon to Cambridge, Oxford, and into an international field of neuroscience. At the heart of my work is a simple question: what makes us human, and what happens when the brain systems that support our humanity are disrupted? Our brains give rise to our extraordinary abilities to invent, build, create, problem solve, but also care, remember, and connect with others. But these abilities are severely affected in conditions across the lifespan, from autism to schizophrenia and intellectual disability, but also in conditions of advanced aging like Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. For many years, neuroscience focused mainly on neurons, but neurons do not work alone. They need support, they need protection, and they exist within a much wider biological environment. Microglia are a crucial part of that environment. My research asks how microglia shape the human brain during development and aging, and how changes in these cells contribute to disease. It is not always clear whether they cause damage, respond to damage, or both. But what's clear, they are inherently part of this pathological signature, and they are now being studied intensely as possible targets for earlier diagnosis, better disease stratification, new treatments, and perhaps one day prevention. This field, once quite niche, is now being recognized as a central one to some of the biggest questions in medicine. Only recently, I was invited to speak at a Nobel Assembly conference at the Karolinska Institute on microglia, and that is a sign that this area of research is coming of age. Over the past 15 years, I've helped create a roadmap of these cells in the human brain, from early development to advanced aging. A key aim has been to keep this research human-focused and translational. Much of what we know about these cells has come from models, and these are extremely valuable. However, I have been committed to studying this in real human brain tissue, so that our findings remain closely connected to the human condition. I also work on developing open scientific tools, and one such example is a recent program that we've created called Deep Cell Map, which is an open source platform that combines AI with spatial statistics. It allows researchers and neuropathologists to analyze human brain tissue, and in a much more scalable and meaningful way. And it helps us see patterns in the brain that were previously invisible. In Parkinson's disease, for example, brain inflammation may help explain how the death of neurons spreads and how in the future it might be slowed down. By combining human neuropathology, AI, and modern neuroscience tools, my work aims to turn complex patterns into clearer insights and ultimately into treatments and better care. At Oxford, I have spent nearly a decade teaching neuroscience across medicine, psychology, and biomedical science. Mentorship has become one of the most meaningful parts of my work, and many of my students I have supervised have gone on to win prizes and distinctions. And I see that as part of the same mission, not only to advance knowledge, but also to pass it on to the next generation of young scientists. I am originally from Lebanon, and Lebanon is at war, and its research infrastructure is fragile. The country faces conflict, instability, and science can seem like a luxury, but it is a necessity for innovation, for advancing treatments and care, and for hope. That's why I've remained connected with the country and the wider region, mentoring students and early career researchers, supporting educational exchanges, and encouraging scientific opportunity. I'm also helping build expertise in neuropathology and tissue-based research, and my hope is that one day these efforts will contribute to stronger science infrastructure in Lebanon. I also remain connected and committed to the disability sector in Lebanon, and I particularly mention the Saint-Dominique Center at the Hospital of the Cross, where improving conditions of the patients there can lead to safety and better care, and this can make a real difference to the dignity and well-being of vulnerable individuals and their families. Looking ahead, I am now building my own laboratory, and I hope to continue advancing translational neuroscience while strengthening research, education, and community ties between the UK and Lebanon. The Saïd Foundation scholarship opened doors for me. It allowed someone from the Levant to imagine a future they may once have seemed out of reach. I hope my story shows what can happen when talent is supported, wherever it comes from. Thank you so much to the Saïd Foundation for this extraordinary honor.